field. Gets open for three. Dagger!
The kick, and here it comes. Swing and a miss! And a World Series Game 7 winning Curly W is in the books.
Washington Capitals are the 2018 Stanley Cup champions. You like that? You like that? I like that.
You gotta like that, right?
My approval ratings keep going up.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Complicated business.
FP, we're going to have to change the sounder for the show. All four of them are no longer appropriate. Maybe we can get away with the cap still because, Ovi's still on the team, obviously, but I think we have to change the sounder. I love it so much, but 250 episodes, I think it's going to have to go. I think it's going to have
new logos, new owners, new GMs, new OCs.
Oh my God.
So much has changed.
What's going on in DC? For those that haven't been keeping up with us in the real world, not on the show, it's been a hectic, 6, 7, 8 months. We've had kids born, legs exploded. We've had world traveling shenanigans from the majority of the folks, the rotating cast on the show. FB and I just decided we needed to turn the mics on and just talk because there's so much happening. There is quite a bit of NFL news. There's a lot happening, and obviously, the elephant in the room is we started the show. Or you? Okay, let me set it straight here. You, FP, and LP started a website called Defeating the Curse many, many, many years ago, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
I don't remember how I was brought.
Blogging.
Something like that. Yeah. I don't remember exactly how I was brought into the picture, but I said, hey, donkeys, let's turn it into a podcast instead because no one's going to read anything you have to say anyway. Let's just talk about it and let's see what happens. And you fast forward a zillion years and 300 episodes, and here we are. The whole premise of the name Defeat the Curse or Defeating the Curse, I guess we always go back and forth on that. We use both. It's always been centered around Dan Snyder, the Washington Redskins, Washington football team, Washington Commanders owner, right? Always. So when the Mystics won a championship, it counts. The Wizards will never be competitive in our lifetime. I'm convinced of it. But the Capitals got one, the Nats got one, and people said, well, you got to change the name. And we said, no, it's all connected to Snyder and the football team, the Commanders. Well, as we sit here right now on July 17th, we're theoretically 2.5 days away from the curse going bye-bye. What are we going to do from here? First of all, I can't believe it's happening. It looks like it's going to happen. We've been silent this whole time, right? Like people have tweeted at us. We've gotten DMs. People have asked for our opinions. Our opinions are the same as everyone else. Like we're just four guys who just love the local sports teams, but the Commanders in particular. And it's surreal, but we're 3 days away, 2.5 days away from saying bye to Dan. It just doesn't seem real.
I'm still holding my breath.
We all are. I know. We all are.
There's a WAPO article this morning. Jason Friedman.
WAPO. You and LP drive me insane with this. It's WAPO.
WAPO.
It's not the Washington Post. It's the Washington Post. Anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
All right. Look, Nicki Minaj told me that it's spelled WAP equals WAP.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for teaching me. Yes.
Look, anyways, there's lawsuits that keep coming out of the woodworks. Dan Snyder's finding some way to make it that he's untouchable once this sale is done.
Yep.
That he washes his hands of anything Washington football team name related. Harris is supposed to sign the deal. I can't celebrate until the ink dries and it is confirmed.
Honestly, I feel the same way, but it looks like it's going to happen. I mean, even last week we were hearing rumblings that, okay, it's not going to happen. There's some last minute shenanigans. Dan doesn't want to do, there's some clause in there or something related to the Gruden emails from, like, I remember talking about those like 5 years ago. I mean, it seems like forever ago. I mean, it was 3 team games ago.
Gruden says that he's going to burn the NFL down and take out Snyder and the commissioner.
Yeah.
It's just, I sent
It's
you
just
that
wild. The whole thing is
there was
wild.
like a 6-page ESPN article about Snyder starting the snowball effect of the Gruden emails and everything, and how it ultimately led to his sale. It's a very long piece, but it's insane if you think about it that Snyder was the reason for him selling the team. He would have been good. He would have
He's-
lasted another 35 years if he just shut up.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
I mean, I think
If he
Steinball's
just
always been caught.
if he just sat quietly
Maybe
and took his punishment that Goodell did,
he was never going to punish him. He was never. Gonna
it was a fake punishment that
I
him
mean,
and Roger came up with.
Of course, and the investigation that yielded 0 pages of investigative output is fascinating still. Like that's a perfect example of like busy work, right? Like we investigated, but everything is sealed. Oh, and by the way, we didn't write any of our findings down. Like, are we stupid? Are we stupid? Like, I mean, come on. Like, what are we doing here? But I do want to talk about Sam Harris here for a second. Like Sam Harris, like he is known for hiring people to run his teams, right? Like in Philadelphia, Josh Harris. Sorry, who did I say?
Yeah. Sam Harris.
Who's
You're thinking Sam Howell and Josh Harris, the two biggest headlines.
Harris, yeah, maybe, maybe. Okay, yeah. Okay, so the Harris Group. Yes, the Harris Group. Sorry, yeah. He's known like like the perfect example of this is the 76ers. What I'm trying to lay out here, right? Like the trust the process nonsense. Like he hired people and he truly did leave them alone to run the business. Like he is. It feels like he's 90%, maybe more in this case, business guy, 10% or less fan. And I actually think that's a good thing in this case, right? Because we've gone down the fanboy route. Dan, obviously, admittedly, lifelong, Redskins fan, bought his hometown team. That honeymoon lasted a couple seasons, but look in the end what happened here. Like he destroyed the team he loved. Could you imagine? Like what do you think to yourself, or what do you say to people like that know you, that you grew up rooting for the team? You now own the team, and you've literally destroyed the franchise.
It's not that hard for me to think. I would probably destroy it similar to Dan. You just want to tinker, right? And that was his problem. It was he just wanted to tinker, and he had zero trust in the process, and he just treated it like fantasy football, which is not the way.
Maybe you do some of that.
Multi-billion-dollar business.
Listen, we have mutual friends that worked in the organization, and as things were starting to leak and come out, like she was pretty clear with us, like that was what was happening there, right? Like,
yeah,
I don't see you doing that. I don't see myself doing that, to be honest, right? Like
I don't see the sliminess of the team. I don't see us doing that. I see like strictly from a coaching, personnel, player side. I can see me destroying the team because I'm just going to constantly tinker with it.
Sure.
But I think a lot of owners do that now in the league, and they get away with it because sometimes they catch lightning in a bottle. Sometimes they have that 2012 RG3 year, but they make it to the finish line. So nobody really talks about that. Snyder's problem, and for a long time, Snyder's problem was.
So what you're saying is all the owners are actually slime balls. They just don't get caught, or most of them are slime balls, like the Crafts of the world, right? That are getting hand jibbers.
Jerry Jones is your prime example.
I mean, right? he's kept it clean, at least publicly, right?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, there's no way you could look at him and think that is an honest man, but
I mean, but he's one of the better owners, right? I mean, he loves
but he's a major
destroy his brand.
But he's major in tinkering with the team, and that's kind of his.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually surprised. Speaking to Jerry Jones and the Cowboys, I'm surprised that the Zeke situation played out the way it did. I just am. I guess there's a couple of those out there. Maybe I'm not that surprised. Dalvin Cook is a free agent, right? Like can we get him here in Washington somehow? Like, I know the team doesn't have like a captain at the moment. Although it looks like the Snyder era is coming to an end here, and it seems like, at least for now, the front office staff is going to largely remain the same. Whoever's in charge of football over at Redskins Park in Ashburn, can they reach out to Dalvin's people? I mean, what do you think? Is he worth an ad or a flyer if you can get him?
I think he'll be too expensive, and I think the rumor has been Bieniemy brings in Kareem Hunt for way cheaper, who knows a Bieniemy offense or a Reed Bieniemy hybrid offense.
Where are you
But
on where are you on the new EB?
I'll tell you. So I was watching quarterback on Netflix, and
What is that?
Patrick Mahomes is one of the QBs.
Oh, it's number one
The
show.
Yeah.
Oh, I keep failing to
So
launch on that. I can't. I don't think I'm going to get through it, but okay.
Mahomes is one of the QBs featured on the show, and it becomes painfully obvious when you see game footage. Bieniemy does jack shit. He sits there quietly with his finger up his nose.
So we're
And
back
you
to
have
the bingo
Mahomes.
caller. We're back to
You
the
have,
the
you have
Al
Mahomes
Saunders
talking
booth.
to Matt
bingo.
Nagy,
Oh
and you have
my
Mahomes talking to Andy Reid, and Bieniemy just sits there nodding along. And look, it's impossible to be worse than Scott
Oh
Turner.
my.
Okay, it's impossible to be worse than Scott Turner. That is a very low bar for Bieniemy to surpass.
Yeah.
But when you watch the footage, and mind you, maybe he did a lot behind the scenes, but the lack of leadership or that you saw from him explains why he never got a head coaching gig. And you just sit
And the
there
guy's been interviewed
painfully
a
watching
zillion
him.
times.
Yeah,
But
it's
this is why, and I know we didn't post any shows. We didn't really talk about it. Maybe you and LP did a show here or there, but
we
the
hit it on the
problem,
higher, but
the problem I have with that hire from the beginning is there's no way you get him into Washington, given the current state of the team, unless you've made a promise beyond being the offensive coordinator, right? Ron is he's an amazing human being. Okay. And I like him as a guy. And I would buy him a beer if I saw him out anywhere. And I would shake his hand and say, thank you for what you've done for the team. But he's a below average coach. And I think anyone who still believes that he is the answer, the savior, the whatever, he lucked into a situation where the team was in turmoil. The team was having basically an identity crisis, and he got to put his mark on on what is now the Commanders. He's not deserving of that post, right? Like, think about all the players, the coaches, everything else. Ron Rivera got to rebrand the team or be part of those conversations.
yeah, that part was
That's
iffy.
trash, bro. That's garbage.
But
That's what
but
you do
he-
when you have a weak owner and a situation where like you're just deflecting and you're trying to appease all the wokes, basically, right? Like that's the reality here. He lucked into a situation where he had a lot more power and the team could not relieve him of his duties, given first his health situation, second the team branding situation fiasco, and now third Snyder selling the team. Like you can't, like he's on, it's not even borrowed time. He's here. My fear is that the only way you get Bieniemy here is that you tell him at some point Ron's going to leave or retire, and it'll be your job to keep or to lose. I don't like that.
no. I think what you need to do is kind of zoom out and in view of what Ron did. So he was brought in for number one above all else, culture change. Could have been a trick from Snyder and whoever just to kind of keep Washington Post at bay and all the woke mafia away. But he was your culture change hire. And he did that 100%. The roster and everything football related, on the field related, Ron has changed that culture. I don't think players hate anything about what is the product on the field, right? Ron is a leader of men. He has brought in very high quality athletes, gotten rid of some bad ones. Mind you, sometimes a little too late, but he has done a great job at shifting the culture of the team. I think, like you said, with the health thing, with COVID, and then again with Scott Turner, which again is Ron's fault.
Okay.
If you give me Ron, leader of men, plus possibly a good Bieniemy, Andy Reid style offense, plus Jack Del Rio defense, which should be a top 5 to 10 defense.
Are you still on the Del Rio wagon at this point? Come on. Be honest. Be honest. Don't lie to the people. Don't lie to the people. Don't lie, FD. Don't lie.
Defense.
He's trash.
You get rid of William Jackson III, who's trash. You bring in Forbes and some of these new rookies that look legit. I mean,
you have faith in Del Rio in his ability to cultivate and grow talent? Yes or no?
Yes.
What? No, you don't. No, you don't. No.
Look at Jonathan Allen's growth, Jerron Payne's
He's
growth,
naturally talented.
Sweat's growth. Look at
I don't think they're growing because of film
Depot's
sessions
growth,
with Del Rio.
Fuller's
Where he's,
growth. The players on defense are solid.
I think you are being. I think no. I completely disagree. I think they tolerate Jack Del Rio. I think they maybe respect his position of authority over them. They don't like him. Remember, he went on his MAGA rant, right? And I don't care like what your politics are. I personally don't care. But remember, he got killed for that, and he got fined for having an opinion, and it was because the players.
He got killed from the blue check mafia. Nobody actually
the players, I'm sure weighed in on it too and said, "Hey, coach, you got to go out and fix this. Like we don't like it." Like
they probably said, "Go."
I don't think
probably said, "Go fix it." Look, you got Jonathan Allen that grew up here and went to school in Alabama. He's heard it all. He doesn't care. Jerron Payne, Roll Tide team. They're used to the MAGA crowd. They don't care about that stuff.
They're professionals and they're extremely talented, right? Talk to me about Chase Young. What's your boy Del Rio?
Chase Young
he's still on the roster last I checked. Why is he here?
But that's not Del Rio's fault. You can't because
it is Del Rio's fault because I'm certain at some point somebody said, "Hey, we trade this bum or keep him?" And he said, "No, we should keep him." I can argue both sides of this, but if you got to gotten anything for Chase Young, I would have taken it. I would have taken a 3rd rounder. I would have taken a 4th rounder. I would have taken a.
Look, the team did exactly what the team needed to do. They didn't re-up his 5th-year option, and he's on a prove-it season. Maybe he has a fantastic season.
What do you believe will happen?
He walks away.
No. Okay.
What do I believe will happen?
Yes.
8 sacks, and he's going to act like he's the second coming of Christ because that's just Chase Young, and I hate him, and he's a bum.
Okay, so what will
there?
Yes. He's going to walk for nothing. He's going to walk for nothing, right?
He's either he has a breakout season and breaks Strahan's record and has 22 sacks or whatever.
Okay,
or
if he does that, if he does that, he's not coming back, right?
Why not?
Because he'll make more money somewhere else because the team is already spent. This is why I never understood the Chase Young thing, right? If he goes bananas and has an amazing season, they can't afford to sign him unless they get creative with the other contracts or take some of the other pieces. They cannot. They cannot
sign him.
No,
you can't afford him and Sweat, but you can afford one of them.
Okay, and right between the two of them, which one do you want? I want Sweat.
Again. It depends on Chase, right? Chase has the ceiling of breaking Strahan's record, being a Bosa type edge rusher. Sweat doesn't have that ceiling.
No chance. There's no chance. He's gonna have 3.5 sacks, and he's gonna.
I'm agreeing with you.
Every other down or every other set.
We're talking potential. The potential of Chase is higher than the potential of Sweat.
I'm not buying it. And remember, Rivera used to kill him too when he was actually playing because he was going to like the same 2 moves. Like he's
bull rush.
Okay, so he's not a generational talent. He's not Lawrence Taylor. The people that said that up front and got killed over it, I've proven to be right. If he has a bum season, he's going to walk for nothing or go sign somewhere else. It'll be an Iraq.
If he has a bum season, then the team did exactly what they should have done. They didn't pick up the 5th-year option. They lose nothing.
So I'm saying it's the Arakpo situation, right? He'll go sign somewhere and that's it. If he has a fantastic season, they won't be able to afford him, right? And if Howell, and I think it more depends on Howell, to be honest, right? Because if he turns out to be the guy, they can't sign anybody because they're going to have to sign him.
Yeah, not right away.
Well, it's this season and maybe next, right? 3 years on that rook deal.
You'd probably want to lock him up next season, yeah.
Right. So you still don't have money for that. That's why I just didn't understand.
I think the state of the players and the football team, I think it's in a good position right now.
Okay.
Right. So Ron, leader of men, Bieniemy, if he does prove to be better than Scott Turner, which is not difficult, and if Jack Del Rio can keep
killing Scott no matter what, it's all Scott's fault.
Turner did he get hired anywhere else? No, he's a quarterback passing.
Well, I mean, if we're using that argument, what team is Wentz playing for next season?
Exactly.
How many
what I'm
draft
saying-
picks? But your boy Ron gave up how many freaking draft picks did he give up to sign a bum? And now what? Stop defending Ron. He's crap.
I'm not defending Ron, but I'm saying there's a lot of low bars that you need to surpass to do better. Somehow, some way, you're at 8 wins and always in the wild card hunt with complete trash Wentz, Scott Turner.
How is that different
William
than the
Jackson
garbage that
III.
the Wizards put us through every freaking season? How is it different? How's it any different?
We didn't give $500 million to one of our players, aka Bradley Beal, that bum. That he might be a bigger bum than Chase.
I am gonna kind of miss him though.
No, you're not.
It was like an evergreen topic to talk about him being injured or him not wanting to get vaccinated or him being a terrible teammate or him being a terrible defender or a lazy defender. Like there was so many topics. Like you could fire up the pod at any point in time, and the Bradley Beal like talking points were going to be the same every time.
I can't
He can't carry the
wait.
team. He's not a second option, right? Like they're literally evergreen takes on Bradley Beal. They have never ever changed.
I can't wait to see KD and Beal get into some sort of argument during the season.
I think he's the starting point guard. I think Bradley Beal is going to be the starting point guard for the Phoenix Suns.
He's
Although
not going to do well there.
Well, I mean, it's hard to argue that he's not the best third option player in the league. I mean, that's incredible that they've got him as a third. Maybe D'Angelo. I don't know. D'Angelo Russell maybe with the Lakers is the third. I mean, who else has a 3-person team like that? No one has a third all-star. Maybe.
I mean, I feel like every team KD has been on, there's been 3 all-stars.
Well, listen, his KD. I'm out on KD. Right, his legacy is going to be that he couldn't get it done. He couldn't get it done without a super team, and that's. I mean, he didn't even get close with the Nets. Right,
Yep.
he got close with the Thunder, and I think had he won one there as a younger player he
would have been solidified.
Yeah, from the beginning. Then you go bounce around and be whatever you want. No problem.
But to join the Warriors after the Warriors beat you instead of running it back, it destroys you. And then to get injured, the Warriors don't miss a beat, and then they win it again the season after without you.
That's right. While in meantime, you build another super team in New York with the Nets. You retool it twice to get new
and
parts.
You get swept in the first
Still
round.
Can't do it. Yeah, and then you go to Phoenix and arguably pair with another top 5 player. I mean, I think Book is really, really good. He just nobody realizes that because he's never on TV and nobody watches the NBA anymore. But Devin Booker is a baller, right? So like that's a good 1-2, and now you've added Beal to it, and they still got that center. I'm blanking on his name at the moment. Ayton, DeAndre Ayton. I don't know.
Layton.
Something like that. Yeah, I'm blanking on it. I can pull it up. But my point is, like, they've got pieces. They've got pieces, right? But like, I mean, could you confidently pick the Suns to beat the Lakers, who are the 8th seed going into the the playoffs last year? Could you confidently pick them to beat the Lakers in a series right now? I can't. LeBron is still,
No.
I mean, for all his woke championing, I'm not done, ESPY award winning stuff. Like he proved in the playoffs, like he can still play, and I give him credit for it. He's still playing 20 years later. He's in great shape.
Shocking take. The only 2 players on the Suns from their finals run are Book and Ayton. That's it.
Is that really?
Else is gone. Yeah.
Oh. Okay. When were they in the finals?
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Against the Bucks.
Well, I mean, there was another thing I saw. Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, and who's the third point guard that have all now played for the same teams in a revolving door style? Who's the third one? I gotta go figure it out.
This is where LP fills the blank.
I know. God damn it. Where is that guy?
He's on tape delay, man. He's always on tape delay. He'll be ready to go at 10:40.
Well, I mean, I can't. That's the middle. Like literally, when he said that the other night, I was like, "That's 4:00 in the morning." Like, there's no chance.
Yeah.
There's no chance. There's no chance. But anyway, I mean, Chris Paul comes here and then he gets traded over there. Chris Paul and the Warriors is an interesting. I wonder if he is, for the sake of the team and winning a ring, willing to lead the second squad. I'm just curious. I'm really curious to see how that kind of plays itself out, because naturally he needs the ball to be him. And Steph also needs the ball. I don't know if Steph can play that. Like, what do you play him at the 2 and Clay at the 3? It's going to be a strange lineup. And obviously Jordan Poole now is a Wizard. Poole and Kuzma are the 1-2 punch here in DC.
The face of the Wizards are Poole and Kuzma.
Wait, listen, we've been waiting for this day for a long time, right? Like, I mean, and you go back in time, if they had re-upped and kept Wall and not Beal, you could argue that and basically be in the same spot, right? Like they would still be more or less in the same spot. Like this eternal, bubble team basically that just can't get over the hump. So like I'm fine with what they're doing. Like thankfully it seems like they've got like some new thinking, some fresh thinking in the front office.
I think
go for it.
Losing Tommy Shepard is bigger to me than losing Beal.
Yeah, and
right?
you remember when Tommy took over,
fully segregated from
we did an Ernie Grunfeld. We
Yeah.
did a goodbye Ernie Grunfeld like special on the show, and we were so excited about Tommy Shepard being like having the reins now. And initially it was fine, right? But in the end, it turns out he's just the same guy. Like he's just the same guy.
Ernie Jr. And now you've fully broken free from kind of the similar thought process that Ernie and Tommy had.
Well, you still got some trash draft picks you still got Johnny Davis on the roster. You still got some dead money here and there. But moving Beal was a big deal.
I mean, the first round this year, Bilal, what's his face? He looks like he might be legit.
Bilal Coulibaly. No, he looks like he can play. He actually looks better than his teammate who went first overall. Just saying, not a hot take. Just based on what I'm seeing.
He's going to last in the league.
You think Wemby is closer to a Hall of Famer or a bust right now?
I'm going bust. I think
I'm with you. I think those big guys, they just the margin of error is so small. Yeah. I mean, listen. I'm not wishing anything bad upon him, but I just don't see how that build.
If any team can figure it out, it'll be the Spurs. I mean, I feel like they're established in kind of dealing with the big men.
And that's fair.
But
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I mean, a great team, but
he did. But listen, at the end of the day, I don't believe that Teddy cares that much about the Wizards. I just don't. In fact, if you recall, a couple weeks back, he sold, I think, a 20% interest in Monumental Sports to the Saudi Sovereign Sports Investment Fund. You remember reading about this, right?
Yeah.
So that they could. So basically, I think he's making a run for the Nationals with that money. Personally, I think that's cash in his pocket, $200 million or whatever it is in his pocket that he can now go spend on to grab the Nationals. It'd be interesting to see. I mean, he's got basically all the other teams with the exception of the Commanders. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. Like, I think that's the move. I think that's the move he's going for. And the Saudis just I don't want to segue like fully into that topic, but they flexed their financial muscle. They broke the PGA to the point where they created a rival tournament or league and hurt the PGA so much that they forced a merger back with the PGA. I mean, it's fascinating what they did. It's fascinating what live in the PGA.
Money talks, man. Money talks.
Well, they have endless money in Saudi. They signed Cristiano Ronaldo. They have, they signed Karim Benzema and like a slew of other, big name soccer stars to the Saudi league. Right? They own exclusive universal broadcast rights to their own league. Think about that for a second. They don't have any broadcast partners. If you want to watch Ronaldo, you subscribe to the El Shahid Network, which is the name of their league, and it's a streaming platform too. Think of like Pluto TV or something, right? So you have to pay for that platform to watch any game. Period. There's no like they own their universal rights to their league. Like there is no way to get that content unless you're consuming it through them. And they're really smart about how much they release outwardly. And obviously it's the exact opposite of what happened here with the MLS and Messi. I mean, that's a huge story. And I can't wait to get LP on one of these shows. We can talk soccer now. We can talk MLS here on DTC because it actually matters for the first time in the history of our show.
I will not make snoring noises while you and LP discuss MLS.
I mean, it took 260 episodes for someone to care about the MLS, and it's because Messi's coming in. It's still surreal to even say, but he's here. Did you see him shopping, by the way, at the Publix? Just walking around buying Fruit Loops and cereal for his kids?
Could
he
you
said
imagine just running into him?
bro, they said that he said afterwards it was the longest time he spent in public without being recognized in over like a decade. And it lasted like 13 minutes. And you know who spotted him? You know who spotted him? There's like
No.
85-year-old woman is the one that spotted him and freaked out. And he felt bad. So he took a picture with her and then he had to run away.
He's gotta love that.
Well, I mean, it's over now, right? But like, think about Messi, like the soccer god is shopping at a Piggly Wiggly or a Publix or whatever it is in South Florida, and nobody knows who he is. He's just a guy, just a 5'7", 5'6" guy, just walking through the like trying to figure out, you know, which cut of Angus reserve beef he wants to buy. Like, just it's. I mean,
I'm also shocked that he just went to a grocery store and he didn't have people do all that for him.
well, you know, I think a part of me thinks that Beckham told him, like, for a while you can hide here because no one's paying attention to soccer. But I think that's a miscalculation because, like, Beckham was in LA, like he was a known commodity in LA, 100% known. But he's even said himself, like when he would travel to like Salt Lake for a game or DC for a game, like the fans could still find him, right? But it wasn't like what he experienced here.
Mobs. Yeah.
It wasn't mobs, exactly. I think with Messi, it's going to be mobs all the time. Mobs, always mobs.
Now, yeah.
I mean, the home opener. Did you see the ticket price? Worst ticket on StubHub for Inter Miami's home game, where he's apparently going to make his debut in the second half.
500 is the low.
How much?
500. I don't know.
Oh, I think you are grossly underestimating the value of of this guy in the league.
It's MLS. Yeah,
bro.
Come
try
on.
$70,000.
What?
$70,000.
That's like 4 Super Bowl tickets.
That's where the money is, man. People don't realize it. Yeah, exactly. He gets cut. He gets a huge cut. He's getting a cut of the gate. He's getting a cut of the merch. He's getting a cut of the boots. He's getting a cut of the TV broadcast rights that Apple. He's getting a cut of everything. That's legitimately. It could be $1 billion contract by the time it's done. Inter Miami went from being the second lowest following, like social media following, to the number 1 social media ad over the last like 3 weeks. Everything they put out now gets like 1 billion views. 1 billion.
Will there ever be another athlete that can demand that type of contract or structure?
No, because there won't be another athlete like him. Remember, he came on before social media was what it is now. Right. So like when you think of like a Michael Jordan or a Kobe or even like early years LeBron, it's very hard to get in trouble because you didn't have all these public forums to speak and show people how stupid you are or how dumb you behave or like there was no way to expose people like there is now. I just don't think this can be repeated. I think it's too hard to keep your nose clean. There's too many cameras everywhere. You only got to say one thing the wrong way and it's game over. It's donezo.
I mean, I feel like seeing seeing a Messi jersey is the equivalent of like the Coca-Cola theory, where you could go to any remote corner of any country around the entire world without internet, without TV, anything, and the chances of seeing a Coke bottle is astronomical. The chances of seeing somebody just in the street with a Messi jersey just as high.
Yeah, people, and again in America, that's what's shocking about the move to MLS, right? Is you could argue that the place he's probably the least popular would be in the United States because soccer just doesn't do it. But like realistically, how long before MLS has a shot at overtaking the NHL or even baseball, right? Like forget about the NFL. The NFL's in its a league of its own. Yeah. But the NBA is hemorrhaging viewership. I mean, is it ridiculous to think that TV rights or TV viewership, I know it's streaming, it's a little bit different than like national broadcasts, I get it, but is it ridiculous to think that Messi could propel the MLS beyond the NBA in popularity in America? I don't think it's ridiculous.
I think you would need amazing coverage of every single game, but then you need him to make other players known so that a casual viewer can just kind of turn on the TV. Like if I know nothing about 30 of the NBA teams, I can still turn it on and watch, no problem, and still have name recognition for a couple of the stars. The MLS isn't there yet, right? All you have is Messi. Maybe some of the national team guys, but
happen. Yeah. Well, I mean, the national team, I mean, at least in our little circle, right? Like people got into the Gold Cup first time in a long time. People were paying attention to the A team and the B team. Like we all were watching it. We were talking about it, in our little WhatsApp chat. But I mean, Messi being here now, especially if like he's a different type of catalyst when you compare him to Ibrahimovic, Rooney, Drogba played here for a while in the MLS. Beckham, he's not seen to be like at the tail end of his career, right? Like he could still play meaningful minutes, full minutes for an entire season on a number, basically for any team in the world.
Yep. Yeah.
So him being here it's just a massive deal, man. It's a massive deal, and it's good. Like why not? Like we're happy to have him, right? Like we'll take it. Like why wouldn't we take it? And Miami, which is already
all MLS records.
I don't know if he played. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he doesn't need much time to do it, right? But yeah,
those records can't be that hard to break. But
he doesn't even need to, right? He just needs to be here to make his zillions of dollars for himself and to grow the game. And we got the World Cup coming to the United States in a couple of years too, right? So like, this is that's why I'm saying like
soccer's primed to explode.
100%. Plus the popularity of FIFA, the drop off on Madden view. I mean, I don't know if you even got this year's Madden. It was horrible.
It went straight to Game Pass. Like
they couldn't sell it.
You didn't have to buy your own copy. Yeah,
nope, they couldn't sell it.
I mean, you can't change it that much. It's just kind of a trash game.
But FIFA doesn't change that much either. But it outsells everything. Like people want to play with
the global following of FIFA.
That's true. I mean, like sports in DC are in a weird, phase at this point, right? Like we're going to have new ownership and I don't know what we're going to do. Like we really do have to think about this, about like, what do we do with the show? What do we do with the branding? Like, does the curse live on past Dan? Like if Dan's gone, I mean, I don't know. We got to think about it. Maybe it's just DTC. Like I still like the name, but like the curse isn't going to fall because we won a Super Bowl. The curse is going to fall because he sold the team.
The curse isn't going to fall until the Super Bowl. Dan's a big step, but until
I see. So you think the curse continues because the ramifications of the Snyder era carry on forward and forward and forward.
Yeah, look, the curse doesn't go away until the Washington Commanders are spoken in the same breath as the Kansas City Chiefs, the Philadelphia Eagles, the elite teams in the NFL right now, which we haven't been since the 90s, the early 90s, Super Bowl run 90s.
I mean, that's what makes it even more sad, FP. Like the team was one of the 4, 5, 6 core NFL franchises. And like, when was the last time you saw like a new Commanders fan or a football team fan, right? Like, what's the average age of a Commanders fan right now? It's got to be 50,
33,
60. No, way more. 30. You're hoping that 10 years ago, some 20-year-old caught the RG3 bug, maybe, but they have. I don't know if there's that stats out there. I'll look for it before we hit record the next time. Like the average age of a fan. Like Commanders have to have the oldest fan base in the league because there's no new fans. Nobody's like, ooh, I love the colors. I love the burgundy and gold.
The dark red,
black and maroon. What was Jim Zorn's line? The black and yellow and gold or whatever. Yeah.
Maroon and black. I don't know. We're hot red and yellow now.
We're trash bag black with yellow racing stripes.
With the Waste Management W logo.
I mean, so bad. And the Washington State coffee mug. Never forget. Hashtag never forget.
Maybe it all changes. Maybe the cloud breaks and the Friday after the ink dries.
Jason Wright's still going to be fanboying a wire mannequin with the wrong cleats and the wrong
that's
jersey.
The thing, right? If Harris comes in and he corrects a lot of those easy wrongs,
care, baby. He's trying to make money. That's what I'm saying. He don't care. He's not a fan of the team. Like to him, this is like buying. It's like you or I going to buy like a car wash. right? Like a deal, like a car wash place, right? Like we don't care about the car wash. We care about making money. Like I have no interest in the car wash.
His $6 billion investment is just passive income for him.
I mean,
He's just
man,
going to sit back and watch his NFL team.
Why else would he go and buy a? Listen, people. This quietly happened a couple weeks after the news deal broke. He went out and bought a piece of Joe Gibbs Racing. Why do you think he did that? Why do you think he did that? Think he has any interest in actually managing the day to day of this team? No freaking way. No way. That's not how it works.
I still think anybody that's spending $6 billion is going to come in and get the low-hanging fruit taken care of, right? Stockpile some goodwill with the media and then disappear.
But they tried that already. Remember, they sent they sent Commanders merch to all the talking heads. Remember, Skip Bayless had his.
That wasn't Harris.
Well,
that was Snyder saving face. You can't
just fabricate fans. Like you have to win consistently. Like you have to be not having sewer water dumped on your fans in FedEx Field.
It's going to be a long year of us discussing Ron, Sam Howell, Bieniemy.
I'm done with Ron. Great human being, terrible football coach. I'm out on Ron. I'm done with Ron.
If Sam Howell's the guy and Ron stumbles ass backwards into a good QB,
I really didn't want to do this. I really didn't want to
12 wins. Are you done with Ron?
12.
I'm going hypotheticals. I'm asking you right now, if the Commanders go 12 wins and they are top 5 offense, top 5 defense, the best thing you've seen in 25 years.
Okay. Yeah.
Are you done with Ron? Or do you want Harris
with Ron.
To say, I'm running it back, keep everyone?
I'm done with Dinosaur Rivera. I can't do it anymore. I can't. He's the last guy that's trying to run the ball in the league. When he actually has good receivers.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, he has receivers that can go grab the ball. As seen by Noodle Heineke throwing the ball up, with a prayer and it consistently being caught.
Speaking of how trash Madden is, Madden ratings are legit. They came out today and Terry's number 9 receiver in Madden ratings.
Did you see where Jahan was? Jahan wasn't far behind. Top 20.
Top 20, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he belongs there.
I mean, it's a huge popularity contest, and to have Terry. When's the last time you've had a top 10 Madden rating wide receiver?
They lock him up. I don't remember. There was a contract situation with him.
He's locked up.
Yeah,
he's locked up. Him, Allen, and Payne are locked up.
Which is a good core. I mean, Howell, we'll see. I mean, do you think? Okay, I got to ask then: is Howell closer to Hall of Fame or bust?
The homer in me wants to say Hall of Fame.
Closer. We're not saying you're not saying he's going to the Hall of Fame. You're saying on the scale.
I think he has a lot of your tangible qualities that you're looking for to QB. I think you truly could hit that Tom Brady. Where the hell did this guy come from?
You know why I don't think I got 2 words for you why it won't happen. Ron Rivera. I don't think Bieniemy's the guy that's going to create it. I think if you had a like maybe, and I hope to be wrong, right? Like maybe Bieniemy, maybe Netflix, the cameras for the quarterback show didn't catch, maybe they only caught some of the interaction on the sidelines, right? Maybe Bieniemy was actually the quarterback whisperer. Maybe, right? Maybe there's a chance.
It's so painfully obvious that he's not.
So who's going to develop him, right? He usually when you have a rookie like that and you want him to sit behind somebody, Wentz was a disaster. I mean, every time I hear the name or I say the name, I get like upset, like I'm going to start screaming again. Like Wentz was a disaster. So Howell effectively learned nothing. He played behind Heineke. He effectively learned nothing. So his redshirt year, he learned nothing. Who was teaching him? Scott Turner?
I understand that, but I don't.
When the big guy comes to you, you check down to your left. If the other big guy comes, you check down to your right.
It's a blessing in disguise that Howell didn't learn from Scott Turner, Heineke, and Wentz.
So annoying how optimistic you are, but I do appreciate it. But it's very annoying.
I got to be optimistic about something, man. There's a lot to be pessimistic about. Let me just live in my fantasy.
Listen, the Wizards are going to be terrible, and we're both happy about that. The Nationals are terrible, but they're actually not as terrible as expected, and we should be pretty happy about that.
I don't want to get into it because I can't speak specifics. But if we get Stevie on here, I'm gonna ask him questions. But this rebuild looks like it's happening faster than it should have been.
It's his guy Rizzo. I'm sure he's.
And it
I
looks
think
like
he
that
actually ran into him.
the Soto trade looks like it's kind of working in our
Well,
favor. And
you know
then
what's
you try
fascinating?
to bring Soto back.
You know what was fascinating? When you look at the Nats roster that won the World Series, like they were a super, and they probably still are, like a tight-knit group, right?
Mhm.
Like Soto traveled to see Max pitch and all this other stuff during the playoffs last season. Like they were all super close.
Right.
Rendon has done nothing since he left. Turner had that historically amazing run with the cool slides, right?
Yeah.
In that first postseason, he's fallen off tremendously. Max, we already knew that the arm was almost over. Strauss
Mhm.
hasn't pitched in 10 years, it feels like, right? So it just shows you it was a perfect team with a perfect complement of talent with like just a absolute perfect storm. And they beat a team that was cheating on top of it. Right? Like
Right.
they literally they couldn't do it again. There's no way. Right? So in
No.
hindsight, when you say like run it back, just pay them all, I think
was
you would
never
end
gonna
up in
work.
the same spot. I just
Yeah.
do, and Rizzo deserves a lot of credit for that. Honestly, he does. He does.
The pain was, did we get good players in
Returns.
return?
Yeah.
But
Looks like you may have,
at,
right?
at the time, it looked like we didn't. But suddenly, I mean,
Things are changing.
things are changing. Yeah.
Yeah, and next time we fire these up, we can talk about the Caps basically going the opposite route. The Caps have been trying to run it back over and over and over and over, right? They've
Caps
literally
made
it's the
they
Ted
made a lot
Young.
of moves this year, though.
They did, but
They finally admitted we need to get younger and faster, and they trimmed the core down to the absolute core of Oshie, Ovi, Wilson,
which is what,
and
yeah,
Jackie.
and Ovechkin will retire capital. I'm confident in that. I think they
Sure.
will continue to overpay him, although he's still producing, right? But like, it's interesting to see him now, like with all the gray hair and the he's a little bit slower. Like, I mean, it's there,
But
right? But
if
it's
you
kind of like,
surround him with the youth and the speed, which
sure,
they've been working on, he could easily
he can
break
still be valuable. He can still help your team. He could, yeah, of course,
yeah, and break the scoring record. I mean, that's kind of what you want to hold on to too. You already got the trophy.
yeah.
Holding on to beating the great one's record.
He'll get it. He'll get it. He'll get it.
I mean,
It's just a matter of
hold
when.
on to that for forever.
Okay, my ears are hot.
Same.
Can we wrap? Are you good?
I'm ready.
It's good to see you. Hopefully we can do it again sooner. We'll see if we can grab Stevie. I believe he's back on Thursday this week from his traveling, so we can grab him. If LP can, apparently, like if he can join us during like daylight hours, or it's daylight till 9:30, basically. Like if we can get him on a show, talk a little MLS, I'd love to pick his brain too. Matt actually has been super active in the Gold Cup chat, so it'd be nice to get him in here too. And he's been obviously following all things baseball. I don't know how those guys follow 100 and zillion games of baseball, but it'd be nice to get him in here too. But yeah, we got to figure out what we're going to do with the show. And if the team is in fact sold on July 20th in just a couple of days, I mean, we got to go live, right? We have to.
I think we have to go rip off the junkies and just have a giant drunken live recording.
Oh, the Burgundy and Soul party. We can go broadcast from there. We'll get people's reaction to the news. Yeah, why not? Why not? FP, thanks for making time. My name is Joe. His name is FP. Thank you for tuning in. DTC available on all platforms. We've been on hiatus for a while. We're back. It's the summer, so bear with us, but we're coming back. Lots happening in and around DC sports. Stay tuned. More content will follow. Thanks for checking us out. Give us a like, give us a follow. Send any questions you want. All social media platforms, all podcast platforms at Defeating the Curse. Thank you and good night.